What say you?
So what happened?
Okay, do you want to explain to you?
So basically, for anyone that's not already in the loop, which I'm sure everyone is, there's an advert that's been put out with a black family, and it's all about dad's gravy. So it's just literally the daughter on the phone to the dad, and they're talking about they're looking forward to Christmas, etc. But it looks like one of them home, like an old school homegrown video, like that you would have put into You've Been Framed kind of thing. And then but it's got a phone conversation going over, and it's like, oh, is this one going to be there, that one going to be there, and then talking about all the food, and dad's like, well, what about my gravy? So it's all about dad's gravy. Literally just a nice family Christmas thing. But what we see as a nice family Christmas thing, the rest of the world doesn't. And there's been loads of complaints into Sainsbury's about it, because people are not happy that they cannot recognise themselves on TV, and that there's a black family, so basically there's no more whitewashed Christmas.
Yeah, so some of the comments that I remember off the top of my head was, oh, so this isn't a white Christmas. I didn't know this was Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria. Then the last one was the best one. Was the dad the father of the children?
Yeah.
Because more often than not, it isn't. The population is like 96% white, but they've decided to use the 4% on TV as an advert, and they feel disappointed that they're not reflected because they can't see themselves.
Can we just...
Yeah, go on.
Can I just add something? Like, this was... Remember, so this is a pattern this year. Because they did that in Britain's Got Talent.
Yes, with the dance.
So Diversity did a dance.
I remember that, yeah.
And it had the most complaints ever.
Yeah.
So there's a pattern.
Yeah.
And
they are coming out.
I can't hold a straight face. I just can't hold a straight face. First of all, can we applaud Sainsbury's for triggering the fuck out of racist Britain?
Yeah.
Well done, Sainsbury's.
Because I believe this is what black people need every single time. We need a reminder of who the enemy is, because clearly these are enemies. I mean, there is no reason for anyone to be triggered over a shitty Christmas advert. Bearing in mind, Christmas's origins, right, like, stems from some fuckery anyway. So it was once called Saturnalia, where men used to buy each other gifts, fuck each other, and beat their women. So black people shouldn't really have no concern. So black people really shouldn't have no concern with Christmas anyway, because it's not our holiday.
I didn't know.
So, as I've said in the past, I am glad that Britain has given us this response as black people, because we need to be reminded more so than anyone else that these people do not fuck with us. And the more we sit and chill with our so-called Caucasian friends and we don't have honest conversations about how they feel about what has happened to us as a people, is us being naive, and it's very dangerous.
It's in reality, it's not progressive.
Not at all.
If you can't have an honest conversation, so we were speaking about it before, how do you move forward? Like in my mind, when I've looked at the past, not history, because history is again his story. Their part, like, it's so fucked up that they've invaded someone's country, brought the people from one country to another country that's not originally yours.
The psychology.
And then you're saying to people, you're not welcome here.
How are you going to take us from where we are, bring us here and tell us that you don't want us? What does that do to the human mind? The reality is, as the mother and father of civilization, right, white people would really be the most disrespectful children on planet Earth. Because we're the mother and father. Is this how you treat the mother and father? Think about it.
Do you know what's even
Is
deeper
this-
with that analogy? Yeah, after the way I've seen some children respond to their parents, it's
Listen.
like, it's reflective anyway.
As you said a while ago, these organizations / companies / whatever they claim to be, right? They are only doing this to cover their backs.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
not
that?
genuine.
Do you think that? I honestly think that Sainsbury's genuinely give a shit. Sainsbury's can't and don't and won't give a crap about black people because they are capitalists. They are using this opportunity and they have an agenda. I think it all comes down to the reality of, or the false expectation of there being peace and us living peacefully amongst people who are hateful, right? Based on history, right? And this is history, this is not me, right? Based on history, the Europeans / Caucasians are the most hateful race on earth, just based on history. If you go and look at history, you will see what they have done. So it's embedded in them. So when I hear, oh, Sainsbury's have put out this and the response is this, but that can't surprise me. This is minuscule. Like, morals is separate from a capitalistic society. A capitalistic society has nothing to do with morals. So how these capitalistic people move isn't based on what's right. So when the people are coming in and looking at it like, oh,
it's not, it's democracy. But we live in
it's
a capital.
democracy, and democracy don't even exist.
No, it doesn't, because we're seeing, as we're seeing, censorship. You know, people not having to have freedom of speech, as we're seeing, it's starting to really get tighter on people.
We're gonna tease you, right? We're gonna tease you, right? Right.
But let's get to the case, though.
We will get to the case, but that's the grand finale.
I'm excited.
What I'm saying is this,
guys, we don't know either.
What I'm saying is this,
excited
right?
for the
What
case.
I'm saying is this, right? And we're not going to touch on this in full, right? But there is common law and fictitious law. Whatever's happening right now in regards to society is fictitious, it's fraudulent, it is not real. So when you take when you take something as minuscule as an advert so seriously, it just goes to show how much you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. That apology is telling us that they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're covering ground.
And what I would say to those who are watching and feel triggered or something surfacing for you, especially those who are white, that is an investigation into yourself. You need to ask yourself, okay, the fact that I'm feeling a way about them really directly addressing you, you have to now have a conversation with yourself. Do you fit with that narrative, and do you need to do some self-work? Because do you have hate, unconscious hate?
Do you have unconscious hate embedded in you? And are the things that are the things that I am saying is like, do you see that as hate? Because I mean, if that's the case, then you have a problem with your ancestors' history.
And not only that, like,
it's not me.
Even if you look at people especially even
Hands
as
are clean,
parents,
I've killed no one.
especially as parents, we teach our children, or I shouldn't say we, and I shouldn't say all, but many parents teach their children certain little things are just worth overlooking.
Look, don't take anything that I'm saying as factual. I don't know much. I got a fudge in my GCSEs, so that would show you that I know nothing. I know nothing. Like, I'm not qualified to be speaking on this stuff. I'm just saying, right? I'm going to present something to you, for you to go and have a look for yourself. So
this is based on facts though, right?
Oh, this is based on information that I've looked up. You can find it all.
So just so we know, this is not
Google.
your opinion. This is not his opinion, guys. This is stuff that's out
I mean,
there.
listen, nothing that I've said is my opinion. Nothing that I've said is my opinion. I just say that to save me from some stuff. But it's not my opinion. It's all out there. So, let's talk about the top 5 colonizers in the world, right? Or that there have been, right? Some of them. France, England, Portugal, Holland, and Spain. Now, what does that tell you? What black man was leading these countries into other places to go and tear shit up?
Colonize and
Huh? What
extract.
black man gave those orders?
None of them were in charge. There was no black men in charge of them places.
Okay, so that's that part. And do your research. You just go and look for yourself, innit, right?
They even tell us in our,
Okay.
That is in basic history because they'll tell us who was leading them countries.
Christopher Columbus.
You know how you can go on like Google and type in some negative shit and you'll see a page full of black people, right? So I've typed in stuff to do with murderers, right, and serial killers and stuff like that, right?
Mind that.
And there's a point to this.
Yeah.
So I've got about, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
10 names that were at the top of this list, right? Harold Shipman, aka Dr. Death, is number 1. Bell Guns, and I could be pronouncing this stuff all wrong, but whatever. Ed Gein, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Jack the Ripper, Herman Webster, H.H. Holmes, and Pedro Lopez. I mean, these are all Caucasian men.
So what did you type up in Google?
I think it was something to do with murderers or serial killers, but this was the list that they presented. Yeah. Right? It's in Caucasian people's nature to do these things based on history and based on present day, right? So when we're talking about Sainsbury's like igniting that hate in Britain, where do you think it comes from? From the beginning of time. It's in the fabric of this society. Because when it comes to black people, what?
I can just get Muttley over here.
When it comes to black people, right? You lot kidnapped us. You lot took us. And then you indoctrinated us. So if you see us acting like you lot, where do you think that comes from? We didn't ask to come here.
There's learned behaviour.
Like, it's learned behaviour.
Learned behaviour.
We didn't ask to come here. And even when you're looking at...
When you look at, as we've said many times about programming, they've programmed black people to hate themselves.
You taught us.
So where's it come from?
You taught us. And even when you taught us, of course, it's all about
obviously
self.
In this day and age, we've got information and there's a level of responsibility, but we also have to acknowledge what the powers that shouldn't be have been doing.
The powers that shouldn't be. That
in terms of they've been, and obviously there's different types of slavery, but there's a deep entrenched slavery that they've been playing out. Yeah. The fact that they studied black people first before they even started to do all this stuff, they studied them, and they said, well, we can't beat them in terms of physical fight or anything like that. So we have to beat them on a mental game.
So you've got people who just want peace, right? And there's something within them that thinks that, oh yeah, like peace amongst all, like, and right? That's not reality, and it's never gonna be reality. The reason why I believe that is, first of all, you have to have peace within yourself, right? Now we know, based on society, who has peace within themselves, right? The universe is mental. We're manifesting things, right? The negativity that we see in this world, right, clearly for the media seems to be overshadowing everything, and it's affecting everyone in a negative way. That is what is reigning over all right now. If the universe is mental and we're manifesting things, the manifestation of negativity is outweighing everything that's positive. When you've got the powers that be when you've got the powers that be that are operating from a negative place, what do you have? Especially when it's programming everyone else. It's going to be a negative space. Yeah. So our safe haven isn't in such a hateful place like Britain that is built on lies and deceit. The Queen is over there sitting on stolen goods right now.
With her non-English self.
That ain't royalty. We know that ain't royalty. Within us, we know it ain't royalty. She's a wrong 'un. And everyone that stands up to her, they're wrong uns too.